It's the Franklin Show, live from Franklin with America's favorite adopted pup, Franklin Delano Roosevelt Lloyd Wright Sinatra Seltzer, and his friend and favorite Franklin dog adopter, Michael Seltzer. I'm your announcer, semi-retired Jim Harper, living on a pension. And now, here's Franklin.
Okay, folks, welcome back to the Franklin Show. We are grateful to be here, Franklin and I, right here on stage. And I have two of the most fascinating people on the show to introduce to you, and some background between the three of us that is just absolutely amazing. So let me introduce the authors of a wonderful new book. It's called Classic Michigan Food and Drinks, and it's the stories behind the brands that made impact in the state of Michigan. My guests are the authors John Milan and Gail Offen. And welcome to you both from two separate we're in three separate locations.
Yeah. Thank you. We're thrilled to be here. It's an honor to be on your show.
Well, it's an honor to have you both. And so let's start with a little bit of background. First of all, Gail, you go back to the WB Donor days.
When it was called WB Donor, yes.
And that's a Mecca advertising agency with major clients like Highland Appliance. And you, when you and I caught up, you reminded me that you knew my brother Eric, who's a children's book author, and you and Eric worked together at Donor years and years ago. So that's an amazing thing.
Yeah, we survived advertising. Look at us, and we're doing
well. Let me tell you something, man. I didn't survive it. I loved every minute of it, and we enjoyed the glory years of the advertising business.
Michael, that is so true. We were there during the glory years before focus groups and massive egos ruined the whole business. So we both have great stories. In fact, we should start a podcast just about advertising, but we'll talk about that later.
Well, that's fine. I do a lot of that on this show, as you well know, because that's my love, broadcasting.
Yeah, no, you're great. You're a great advocate for the advertising industry.
Thank you. And John Milan, you and I met apparently many, many years ago. You reminded me that I was friends with your wonderful aunt, Sonia, who was a rep from WRIF radio. And God bless Sonia. I love her to death. And you actually made a visit to our offices back in the day on Northwestern Highway. So, and even more interesting, your son, Evan, is now the clerk here in the village of Franklin, and I had him on the show, and I said, what kind of small world is this? Who knew?
You can't make it up. You can't make that up.
All right, so that's the background. Now talk to me about what led you into the creation of this wonderful book, which is, I mean, it's just an amazing story about major brands that we all know and love, like Kellogg's of Battle Creek and Velvet Peanut Butter and so many others. So go ahead. Let's pour through that history.
Go ahead, Dan. Yeah.
I think to begin with, this was Gail's idea, this particular book, and she always has her finger on the pulse. I tend to be a little more esoteric, but we've written 4 books together, and she thought it would be really interesting to focus on all the great foods that come from Michigan, including the game changers, right, Gail?
Right. You know, we've written books on haunted places in Michigan. We've written a book on Grand River Avenue, and we actually wrote a book called Iconic Restaurants of Ann Arbor. And I've always been very interested in food, and I always felt like Michigan has really changed the way the world eats. I don't think people realize that. Between Kellogg's, which invented ready-to-eat breakfast cereal, Gerber, which literally invented commercial baby food. And a lot of people don't even know that Gerber is from Michigan. There's all these incredible brands that came out of Michigan that the world continues to eat.
It is amazing. I mean, we all talk about some of our favorites like Buddy's Pizza, which I just ordered through Goldbelly and had myself a Buddy's Pizza the other night. It was wonderful, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah, people mention so many great products out of Michigan, but and as Gail said, there's a lot of them that people don't even realize are Michigan based. We love to surprise people by telling them that we invented garlic bread, frozen garlic bread, so you never know.
All right, so let's explore some of the ones that aren't as well known. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to just start with Jiffy because a lot of people don't realize it's from Chelsea, Michigan. Right. Jiffy cornbread is the #1 dry grocery product across America, which is amazing. And it's still under $1, or as like John says, unless you buy it at 7-Eleven where it costs. But it's a family-run company. Another thing we emphasize in our book is multi-generational family-run companies. Right. And Jiffy Mix, it's still run by a family. It's not run by some conglomerate. It's still from downtown Chelsea, Michigan. And Michael, to your point earlier, one of the reasons it's still under $1, because we interviewed Howdy Holmes, who's this, one of the grandson of the founder and the CEO. He said the reason it's under $1 is that he never has advertised, and that's what keeps his prices low. And he's very proud of that.
Wow.
It's an affordable product. It's a great thing for America. It's affordable. It's under $1. And people don't even realize it's from Michigan.
Well, I think people realize it when they go to Chelsea and they go see Jeff Daniels in his Purple Rose Theater. So that's the tie there. But yes. I had no idea that he was anti-advertising, so I want to strike him from the show.
Jimmy's out.
We made a great living in the advertising business. I'm not for people that don't advocate that, but no, I'm just kidding.
Actually, he did advertise because he was an IndyCar racer and he drove the Jiffy car. Oh. So people would see that every time there was a race, Yeah. But I guess he never paid for the advertising.
Wow. That's an interesting factoid. All right. You're wearing a Werner's cap, so obviously very well-known product, and a Werner's t-shirt.
I don't know. Are you a fan of Werner's or not? But
I like a Boston cooler, where you Werner's and ice cream. But just chugging Werner's was not my thing, but I know people love it.
Well, it is by the process of elimination, the oldest soft drink in America.
Can I offer you a Coke, sir?
No.
7-Up, some coffee?
No.
Something a little stronger?
No. I'd rather Werner's.
No matter what else you got, don't get caught with your Werner's down.
Wherever you're going, it's nice to know Werner's is there. Nothing can replace Werner's mysteriously refreshing taste. Absolutely nothing.
Don't get caught with your Werner's down.
And probably the oldest carbonated beverage belongs to Schweppes, but Werner's in 1866 came to be, and it is now the oldest in America.
Well, we also have Faygo, so that's a competitor, but also from Detroit, yeah?
Yeah, 1907, and there's obviously Faygo is a brand that we all love too.
Yeah, I'm wearing little Faygo red pop can earrings. You can't go in for a close-up, Mr. DeMille, though.
Well, if I had a director here, I could.
Go ahead.
I said if I had a director here, I could, but I could. So then, I know Norby Zuckerman. I know the Zuckerman family.
Okay.
Very lovely.
Michael, you must know that Norby was the model for the very famous Fresh, Pure, and Delicious logo they have.
I don't know that I knew.
Oh my gosh! Everybody. Remember on the side of a building in downtown, there was that mural for years. We all grew up eating velvet peanut butter.
Yes, we
did. And, he was one of the first guys, Paul Zuckerman was one of the first guys to homogenize peanut butter. And he started making it in his garage in the late 30s. And then he started to go around and selling it. And it's what we all grew up on. Yeah. And Fresh, Pure, and Delicious was modeled, that little kid with the freckles.
That was good.
We always love to ask people, are you fresh, pure, and delicious? Or are you a combo of all three, Michael? We need to know.
Well, there are some great stories about that man, but I'm not going to get into them here. Yeah. This is a family show.
Yeah.
All right. And Better Made potato chips?
Oh, yeah. Well, we got a treat there. We toured the plant, and they don't generally give tours, but we were privileged, and we got a special treat, didn't we, Gail?
Oh my gosh, they gave us potato chips right out of the fryer, and it's ruined potato chips for me. I got potato chips because we got to, but there used to be how many potato chip companies in Detroit, John?
31 in
31.
1930.
Yeah, and Better Made is the last chip standing because all those chips went. Even Velvet had crunchy potato chips. We all remember those, but they're all gone except for Better Made, and that's that's the
I
last.
imagine having a potato chip right off of the assembly line
Yeah.
is like having a Krispy Kreme donut when it comes off.
Yeah. Well, and when it's served up by the owner of the company, you feel very special. You really do. It's like
That was another cool thing about writing this book. It took us 2 years to write this book.
Right.
We went all through Michigan, and we got to see how the food was made and interview the people making the food. That was the best part, meeting these families, meeting these multi-generational families that take such pride in their work.
Sure.
We were just, and plus eating the food, we all had to go on a diet after, but it was just really cool to see how all this food is made.
Well, I remember as a kid growing up and in elementary school taking a trip up to Battle Creek and going through the Kellogg's plant, and I think we got the first Fruit Loops at that stage.
Oh, cool.
I'll never forget that. I mean,
Lots of
obviously,
people went on
Battle
the
Creek is
Kellogg's tour. Yeah, and you got the little hat at the end. We have a picture of it in the book. I have a picture of myself wearing that. You got that Sunday, but my God, Michael, Fruit Loops was a revelation, wasn't it? It changed your life.
right.
Yeah,
And-
we were both there in the mid 60s. There's a picture of each of us. We don't know if it was the same day. We didn't know each other at the time, but you had to go on those tours in those days, obviously, and Post
Sure.
was across the way, and they had that museum, and it was just a wonderful day to, unfortunately, the days of touring factories are kind of over when it comes to food, but
There's no fact any of the places in the book do not give tours anymore. Even Jiffy that used to give tours does not give tours anymore.
And is that because of health concerns?
it started during the COVID
Oh,
situation, and then I think they had to rethink and say, well, is it totally safe for our
And
employees?
espionage. Yeah, they were worried
Espionage.
to steal their secrets. And so we were lucky to be able to go behind the scenes and,
There's a couple of small operations, and Sanders, which is not a small operation, does have a little section in Clinton Township where you can watch them making the dark fudge salted caramels. You can see that happening, but it's behind glass.
what a shame. That's part of our nostalgic past, those kinds of tours and the ability to connect like that. So it's a shame that that's somewhat missing today, but nonetheless.
Well, and the most important thing is knowing how to pronounce Sanders. Michael, you want to take a shot at it? Because this is one of our number one reasons for writing the book is the pronunciation.
I'm afraid, I'm scared, I might say Saunders,
Oh,
but I think it's Sanders.
yeah.
It is Sanders. It rhymes, as they tell us, it rhymes with Michigander.
Yeah.
But, if you're from Southeast Michigan, as I know you are where you're from, I know exactly where you're from, the next town over from me. We used to pronounce it Sanders.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like,
that's also the difference between growing up in Detroit, in Northwest Detroit, where I lived at 8 Mile and Lasher.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
Lasher, we grew up, Southfield, we called it Lasher. I don't trust people to call it Lasser.
No.
All right, so you guys obviously have done some great writing, not just this book, but you mentioned others. So how did the two of you forge this co-authorship relationship?
Well, we met about 20 years ago, and of course, Gail has a long background in writing and advertising, and I spent my career in corporate communication, so I did a lot of writing, and we both did our share of producing things. So it was kind of a perfect fit. We both wanted to share our talents, and it just kind of really hit it off. Actually, she edited the last book I wrote on my own, and then we went on to collaborate after that.
And what was the last book you wrote on your own?
Oh, it was about Michigan Avenue from Detroit to Chicago.
Oh, okay.
All about how the Native Americans went shopping on the Miracle Mile there. I'm joking, but yeah.
Miracle Mile. Right. Well,
But
what a fascinating array of books that you guys have collaborated on, and this one in particular is near and dear to us Michiganders. We're always going to be proud of our heritage in Michigan and the great products that came from this great state. So I thank you guys. Is there a website for those of us who want to see all of your collaborations?
Well, we don't have a website, but we do have a Facebook page for all of our books. But our current one, all you have to do is go on Facebook and Instagram. It's Classic Michigan Food. And our email is classicmichiganfood@gmail.com. And what we've done since our book has come out is we've done, boy, John, probably over almost 100 talks at libraries, historical societies, bookstores, all places. The best part was when we go into places like this summer, we did book signings at Doug Murdoch Fudge and at Kilwin's. So we're going to some of the places that are in the book and doing book signings there. Meeting people and talking to people is a joy to us. That's why we write these books. We love to learn more about Michigan and share what we know with people. So look, follow us, and we may be coming to talk somewhere near you. And actually, I'm going to give a little slight plug here. On January 31st, we're going to be at the West Bloomfield Library at 11 a.m. giving a book talk for the West Bloomfield Historical Society. So if you'd like to join us there, we'd love to see you, and
awesome.
see you anywhere. We're so proud of Michigan, and we really appreciate you letting us talk about it.
I appreciate both of you, and if I were in Michigan, I'd be there on the 31st to see you.
You're not planning a special trip on the 31st just to see it?
If the weather warmed up about 75 degrees, I might consider.
Well, if you follow us on our pages, you'll see where we'll be next. And
excellent. All right. Well, I thank you both.
Eat lots of Michigan food.
You guys are a delight, and I look forward to seeing you when I return in the summertime. I'd like to catch up with both.
Franklin too.
All right.
Thank you. Oh yeah, thank
John
you.
Milan, Gail Offen, and thank you so much for being here on the Franklin
Thank you.
Thank
Folks,
you.
we'll be right back. Stand by.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back, everybody. Franklin and I are here with a very special and legendary guest. I am so pleased and so proud to know this man and to introduce him to this audience. Many of you know him from so many years of great advertising and marketing, jingles. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Dan Yessian right here on the Franklin Show with us.
Good afternoon, my friend. It's nice
and such a pleasure to see you, my friend. You look great, and I've known you and your illustrious career for many years, and your son Brian lives in the village of Franklin, and so we've had occasion to run into one another.
Are you living there now?
I actually am not. I have. We left the village this summer,
Okay.
but I'm coming back. I'll be back in the village this summer as I've planned, renting. But we had a 30-year run in the village, and I loved every minute of it.
And you're in Arizona.
And I am in Arizona, yes, where the sun shines every day, and I don't have to deal with snow.
That's why it's so windy and cold out today.
Well, that's why I'm here. I'm sorry to say. Not too sorry.
Right.
So, Dan, look, you've enjoyed a bit of a renaissance recently because you are so well known and connected to so many great things in Detroit. Among them is Dietrich Furs, which is closing after 132 years, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And of course, that incredible jingle that you created.
Dietrich, dependability. Dietrich, since 1893. Dietrich furs by the Dietrich family. Oh, Dietrich furs by the Dietrich family.
I mean, it's amazing to think 132 years ago, because you look great, that you were able to do that with those skiers in beautiful fur coats going down the slope, and that magical Dietrich Furs theme song that you created. So it's gotten a lot of press given their illustrious history, but this is about you and about the great work that you've done. And so let's start at the beginning. Where did you begin Dan Yessian and Associates?
Well, let me tell you, I taught school for actually 4 years at Redford High School in Detroit from 67 to 71. And in 71, I decided that I wanted to go into music full time, to the chagrin of my parents, of course.
Yeah.
And it started in a small office. Actually, it was a old bait shop that I tore down and set up a telephone and a desk, and started making phone calls to car dealerships to see if I could sell them on the idea of buying a jingle from me.
Right.
That was much of a struggle. And that went on for a number of years. And then things happened by surprise. You know, I got a phone call from Hal Dietrich, unsolicited, by the way, the late Hal Dietrich.
Right.
And he asked if I could come in and write a piece of music for the company, for Dietrich Furs. And I said, sure, I'd love to. And now I had no idea, you know, how to charge him or what to do, but I found my way through that. And he said, can you do me a jingle that is going to be very, very long lasting? Well, did I know it was going to last for 40 years?
Right.
So that was a whole nother thing. And having done that, during that process, he was asking me questions like, not questions, he was telling me what he wanted in the jingle.
Right.
Make it with words like, since 1893, make it dependable, and make it 5 or 6 or 7 times the mention of our store within 30 seconds.
Sure.
And so he really laid out the parameters, and so from that point of view, it was easy. I went home and I started plunking out some music, and it came together. And that following week, I took it in and played it for him. He says, "This is right on. This is perfect. This is exactly." Well, never. You know, Michael, this business is crazy. It never works out that way.
Right.
That somebody takes
first take.
Yeah. So that was cool, and then he wanted iterations of that for Christmas and for Easter and for whatever other, you know, events would take place during a year.
Sure.
And so I did it as a 3/4 waltz. I did it as a 4/4 type of a rhythm. So with that, you have to multiply. Okay, you're going to do for Christmas, but then you need to do it as a with these time changes.
Sure.
You have to multiply the number of things that you're doing in terms of rhythm. And it came out that I said, my gosh, this is going to be like 60 different spots that I'm doing for Dietrich Furs.
For one low price, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And no residuals.
And no residuals.
Right.
Not, well, that's the way we were working back then. These days, we get residuals. So that makes up all the difference in the world. But
right.
For that, it was still the experience of having done that.
Right.
But I would think it would garner this much attention. No, nothing that I've ever done. And we've done a lot of things. We've done it for Coca-Cola, for Disney, for, you know, later in those days, we did it for those Fortune 500 companies.
Right.
And still with that, we never garnered this kind of attention. from those things.
But hopefully you did better financially in later years.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, you're giving it away for almost nothing.
Right.
So it worked.
Well,
out.
I mean, look, there are a million stories like that in show business. You know, Van Morrison wrote Brown Eyed Girl, probably one of the most played 45s in the history of music. He gave that away to get out of a contract. So you can imagine how that feels, right?
Oh, yeah. Right.
So, but when you were doing what you were doing in Detroit, there were a lot of memorable jingles. And, you know, it's a big part of marketing back in the 60s and 70s. Roy O'Brien.
Stay on the right track to 9 Mile and Mac, you know.
And Gene Marolis was a great, great guy.
Gene Marolis, what a great guy.
And I handled Leo Adler Dotson in the earliest years, in the early 70s. And they had that Leo Adler yodel.
Yeah, very well. Yeah.
And I'll never forget, Dan, going into Sid Brand's office with a spec a radio commercial that I had created for him that did not include his famous yodel. And he looked at me very sternly and he said, "Young man," because I was much younger, I was in my early 20s,
Yeah.
"do not ever run a commercial without our yodel in it." Yes, sir. I absolutely agree. I just thought I'd share something a little different. Never happened again. So,
Yeah. Well, you take your marching orders from what they want, and you're hopefully delivering something that they're going to like, and that's the whole thing. Because you never know what's going to really perk.
No, of course not. But you know, creating something like that sticks for people. You know, you think about back in those days, the commercials that were airing for Belvedere Construction and that magic number, Tyler 87100.
Here's the magic number. Keep it by your side. Belvedere Construction, they are known both far and wide. For the best in home improvement, they're known throughout the state. Call Tyler 87100 for a home improvement date.
We'll never forget it.
Yeah.
And that was all tied to music. And music has an emotional connection for people, as you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So and the jingle industry, I mean, that was you. There was Tanner, there was Simone Vitale. I mean, there were a few folks out there doing it. Chuck Doherty. Do you remember Chuck?
I remember the name. I don't remember him.
He represented Tanner. And Chuck Doherty was a great guy, had a great voice. He was the booth announcer at Channel 7.
Didn't Tanner do all the call letters for all the radio stations?
No, I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know. But I just know there were other, companies competing with you, but nobody did things the way you did them. And here you are all these years later. And I imagine, you're keeping as busy as you want to be and still doing what you love.
Still, life was a struggle. Back then, it
Yeah.
was not an easy road for me. I mean, it was, I think, a matter of 5 or 10 years before we actually started making money. So I was very, very diligent about wanting to make sure something worked, because after all, you left a teaching position, and now you've got a wife and a couple sons, and you bring something home. You have to bring the bacon home to have us all survive.
Right.
And that was a trick, but there were so many other things that happened that transpired during those ages, where I was involved with not just doing jingles, but, well, I'll share with you a story. At some point we weren't making any kind of money. So I decided that it would be probably a good idea if I started promoting talent. So if you're ready for a little story,
I'm ready, Gabe.
I can tell you how that went. We created a promotion to have artists like Chubby Checker, the Four Tops, Danny and the Juniors, and blah, 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 whatever the list was. And we did a promotion in Traverse City and invited a capacity of 20,000 people. The short story is that only 1,500 people attended. And with two other guys that were responsible for helping me with this, we all put in 10 grand, and we all lost 10 grand.
Oh, jeez.
So, not to mention the fact that there were things that happened along the way. I would go back and forth to Traverse City, and I used to drive a little Gremlin car, and the Gremlins had those hatchbacks. You know,
I remember.
and the problem with that Gremlin was that if the hatchback was flipping up and down enough, you would get carbon monoxide into the car. So one evening, I was driving up to Traverse City to see if I could help ticket sales. Well, I fell asleep in the car.
Oh, jeez.
And the car went through a cornfield. And, it obviously shook me up, and I was like, where am I? Who am I? Why am I here? And it was things like that that happened, you know, that jog your memory quite well, because more than losing $10,000 when you're unconscious in a Gremlin, you can't forget that.
Well, you had to be somewhat unconscious just to buy a Gremlin. Those AMC cars. Remember, AMC was famous for the most odd, the Pacer, the what was that? It looked like a Jetsons mobile. It was like all glass.
Yeah.
After
the Gremlin, I bought a Nash Ramblers so I could be more in a painful state than I was before with the Gremlin, you know.
Gosh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm still suffering the ill effects of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
All right, well, so my wonderful editor, James Drum, such a talented young man, he put together this audio of his version of a jingle for the Franklin Show. I'm going to play it for you.
Go ahead.
He's very concerned that you're going to completely destroy him, but here's well, you know what? I can't do it. I can't do it right now. I've got to turn off my hearing aids because they're going into my Bluetooth. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Here's
Grab a seat, don't you go. Franklin's ready to steal the show. Lights are up, let's let it glow. It's the Franklin Show on your TV. Big ideas, big energy. From stars to dreamers, you'll soon see. It's Franklin and me. Yeah. From coast to coast. It's time.
He got all the points.
I mean, he's not a professional like you are, but he took the time and he said, I was thinking about this and I wanted to do something. And, you know, Dan will probably criticize it, but what the heck?
No, it's great. He hit the points. He got the point across. And
he repeated the name of the Franklin Show several times. So
yeah. He got all the points. That's great. You know, when you had Tom Ryan on the show, another part of my life was doing novelty songs for Dick Burton and Tom Ryan.
Oh, I didn't know that, Dan.
Yeah, and we did all kinds of things. We did something called Donuts Make My Brown Eyes Blue.
Wow, I remember that.
Okay. And then we did another called Betty Davis Thighs.
I remember that.
And along the way, Tom said, you know, I have a department store that I'm representing, a spoof thing, you know.
Yeah.
Sam Sakowitz.
Sam Sakowitz.
Department stores. And he says, can you do a jingle for Sam Sakowitz? Well, we did it. And I'm going to have my producer send it over to you. You'll get a charge out of it. Yeah, because it's totally off the rails. You know, so
well, I remember all of those bits, Dan, and did not know that you were responsible. So you're getting credit where credit is due.
Yeah, we didn't get paid, but it didn't matter.
That's another issue. Well, I've done a number of shows with Dick. You know, in fact, our 1-year anniversary was in September. We did a live in front of a studio audience panel show, and I had Dick Burton and all his people, including well, Tom Ryan was out of town, so he wasn't on that show. But everybody else from the show was part of that. You'll enjoy it. And Dick and I are very good friends, and so you're a big part of that past history of the great Dick Burton show. Then.
Yeah, if you see him, tell him I said hello. I haven't talked to him.
I will be seeing him, and I just talked to him 2 days ago, and he's doing well, enjoying the weather in Florida. So,
right.
All right. Well, so what is there anything new on the horizon that you want to discuss? Is Brian involved in the business with you?
Yeah, both my sons, Brian and Michael, run, and you can visit Yessian.com because that's where all of our national stuff is.
That's fantastic.
And then we have our own YouTube channel. That's Dan Yessian Creative. You can visit that and see all the things that we do that really create a lot of fun for us because it's just not music. We also do interviews and we also do comedy. Why would I do comedy? Because let me be honest with you, when you do all of this all of your life, you have to have a little levity and some fun.
You're darn right, man.
And so we've done a lot of that, and it's been very, very gratifying for me.
Well, we've both had wonderful careers during a period in advertising and marketing history that was just a lot of fun. And yeah, there were probably struggles along the way, but the 70s to me and the 80s, it was just a great time to be in marketing, advertising, and the like.
Right.
And you and I were both there for all of that. And there are just countless great stories. And I love telling them on this show because so many of the folks like you have legendary histories and great stories to tell. And I think people really enjoy them.
Well, my whole thing, Michael, also, besides doing jingles, was song creation. In fact, I'm more of a songwriter than a jingle writer. And so we did a lot of songwriting. Now, did we get anywhere with it? No, not necessarily, but it's always fun to sit down and be able to write a piece of music.
Absolutely.
In fact, I had collected a number of songs on a CD. Now, this'll throw you. Talk about strange things happening. I had written a number of pieces and was invited to an AdCraft luncheon. And I was put at the head table of that luncheon with Quincy Jones sitting. Wow. He was sitting right next to me. And I thought, this is a wonderful opportunity for me to introduce my material. Now, this is a no-no. You don't want to do that stuff on that kind of an occasion, right? Because that's a no-no. So I had assembled a couple CD samples of music. And while we're eating through the salad course, I put the CDs on the floor so he wouldn't see it because I didn't want to give this away right off the bat.
Right.
So the CDs on the floor, and I had a little trouble locating the CDs on the floor while sitting there. And I thought, oh my God, where did they go? Did they fall off the riser or what happened? So they were there, and I started shuffling my feet to see, to check the distance of where they were from me and to him. So while on the floor, I'm searching, and he feels something on his feet.
You're playing footsie with Quincy Jones.
With Quincy. And he said, excuse me, is there something going on down there? One of the most embarrassing things that had ever happened.
Oh my God.
Did he listen to the CDs? No, of course.
No, he probably put them right in the trash on his way out.
Of course they did.
That's a hilarious story. Yeah. How embarrassing.
It's very embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, my friend, it's great to see you. I hope you're enjoying this 15 more minutes of great fame because of the closure of a great retail business. I know that you were a big part of their success. I know they appreciate that, and it's been fun, I'm sure, for you getting that, being for your talent.
It's been a ride. I didn't expect it. It's been a surprise. And I thought, well, what's all the fuss? But, somehow or another.
Yeah.
I mean, people have it on their ringtones.
That's so funny.
That's crazy.
Well, listen, I think highly of you, and I think fondly of you. And it was great running into Brian and reminding me, and of course, then seeing the press about this notable jingle and its history and where it emanated. So I'm glad I had the opportunity to have you on the show. We will put your website, your YouTube site, and all of that good stuff up. And I'm sure there'll be more edited into this interview that people will find entertaining.
I appreciate it, Michael. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, my friend. Dan, all the best to you. And
to you.
Thanks for being on the Franklin Show. Folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's something about having that piece of paper. Some people think that's worth more than my skills.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
You just gotta be so good they can't ignore you.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Analytics and empathy. That's how I've gained clients.
I am more.
I'm more
than who I am on paper.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this show as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. We love entertaining the masses, or even just a couple of people, whoever's here. Anyway, thanks for tuning into The Franklin Show, and we'll see you again next time, right here on The Franklin Show. Bye, everybody.
Grab a seat, don't you go. Franklin's ready to steal the show. Lights are up, let's let it glow. It's the Franklin Show on your TV. Big ideas, big energy. From stars to dreamers, you'll soon see. It's Franklin and me. Yeah, yeah. From coast to coast, it's time for the Franklin Show.